So, Barb, thanks for joining me on Cecil's Unknown Achievers. Appreciate you taking the time.
Pleasure to be here with you, Cecil.
Awesome, great. So, before we start talking about your business, Unstuck Coaching, I wanted to get your view on the coaching industry itself, which is huge. And
Yeah.
there's a ton of genres and niches, and I read it's like over a $6 billion industry and still growing. So, what is it that you feel is contributing to that growth in coaching? What's driving all that?
I think a lot of things. I think one thing that happens is people get coached, and when they do that, they get helped.
Hmm.
And it can be so transformational that they experience wanting to do the same for somebody else. And so part of the huge growth is I love helping people. I want to help people. I got help from a coach. I want to coach. That would be so fulfilling. To me, that's one aspect of the growth of the industry. There's a very low entry to barrier. Cecil, you can leave our conversation today and say, I'm a coach.
Hmm.
And that's perfectly fine. There's no certification required, there's no licensing required. So there's a very low entry, very low barrier to entry, and a very high barrier to success. And so why not give it a go, I guess? And I think there are truly titans of the industry who understand what it takes to really excel in the area of service to their clients. These are people like me who are forever seeking growth, not only personally, but for the good of their clients. We understand, like you understand, how much work it is to be in your own business,
Hmm.
right? So what we know as entrepreneurs and sole business owners is we love doing the work, right? We love the work, but making a business happen, right? That's a whole different kind of work.
Right.
So we love it when we're in our business. I love it when I'm coaching. And then when I'm out there in the world, I'm trying to connect with people I hope might need help. So the third a reason for the explosion is lots of therapists are converting their businesses to coaching practices. Therapy can be a long road,
Hmm.
and it lasts for years and years and years, and it has its place. And coaching often works kind of, let's call it on a project basis.
Hmm.
What I mean by that is when we're first deciding if we want to work together, one of the things we're going to figure out before we engage in business together is what do you want out of this, Cecil? Right? What's your pain point? And I call that a project. So we're going to identify a project we want to work on before we start our work. And then you decide how badly you want to work on the project to make it your thing, right? Something's hurting. And as we move along in working together, as we're accomplishing that project, say we complete. And then you get to decide, hey, given my success here, do I want to work on another one
Or move on.
or move on? And
Yeah.
we're done. Our work here is done, coach. Coachee has accomplished the project we set out. We're feeling great. We're done.
You think, okay, you start the project, it's moved on. I don't need it anymore. Do people tend to, in your opinion, use coaching more than they should? Like, or should they, you know, eventually move on from it after being equipped? Or is it a lifelong thing that you should
Love.
keep
I
coaching?
love that question so much. And I also have an experience with my clients and my own experience because of course, I find coaching and believe coaching is so valuable. I, of course, have a coach. And I'll work with my coach as long as she and I are working on our projects. And what I'm experiencing with her and what I experience with my own clients is there's a momentum where I've achieved one project and it can be on the inside, right? Like who I am in the world, how I'm showing up in the world and with my family, with my right? Or it could be a real like project. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like a thing. I want to run a marathon. I know I can. I just need support, right? Just my point in all of this is to say, with my clients, what I experience is we achieve a project, we're gaining confidence because we did that thing that's been niggling at us. We got that. And then we're ready for the next one. It's a higher level. And
Hmm.
so we're going to keep working on it. And the client says, I'm complete or I got another one.
It's interesting. You mentioned the low barriers to
Barrier.
entry.
Mm,
In the industry I'm in acting and voice acting,
yeah.
there are a lot of coaches, a lot of people saying they're coaches, and a lot of them are folks who have just been in the industry for a little while, and they say, "I'm going to be a coach," and I've been approached to do that as well. I've been in the industry like 14 years. I don't necessarily want to do it. I give advice if someone asks, as I've been the recipient of good advice when I ask other people. So it's kind of a pay it forward thing. But it begs a question: what really qualifies somebody to be a coach? Is it just that you've had experience doing a certain thing that you now can coach? Because in the sports world, there's players who have stepped into coaching positions that fail miserably because they're players. And unless they've been groomed by a coach to make that transition, it doesn't usually work well. So, what are your thoughts on what really makes a good coach?
Sure. Um, ooh, I want to cover a couple things because that was just a really juicy question. Well, let me answer the first one directly. What makes someone a good coach is someone who can help, right? You have the client identifies they're really, really ready to do the work on something, whatever it is. Um, and the coach, they determine that coach is going to be, um,
Fit.
it's the right fit.
Hmm.
One of the things I think was interesting in what you just shared from a coaching perspective is giving advice. And consultants give advice. They tell you what to do, and then you choose to do it or you don't do it. From my point of view as a coach, I come into a coaching relationship believing you have all the answers within you. And my role is to help you bring out your inner wisdom.
So there's a
I'm
difference you feel between a coach and
a
a
consultant,
consultant.
100%. A
Okay.
consultant, you say, what should I do? And the consultant says, I'm an expert in this. You should do this.
Ah, okay.
A coach believe I, as a coach, believe that within your very being what is best for you. I can't possibly know that. I'm not you, but I believe you know. And my role as your coach is to help you bring out your inner knowing.
So you're not giving answers. You're more of a
I'm
guide,
not.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. How can I know what's best for you? Now, I might share with you a story of what I did that worked for me. And you might be like, that is ridiculous. That would never, right? Cool. What do you think would work for you?
Right.
And you talk about it, and you'd be like, yeah, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. And then I'd probably ask you, so let's work on that. And maybe you go and do it because you think it's the best thing, right? And you're an utter fail. It fails. Whatever the thing is, it fails. Great. What did you learn from the failure? Because you succeeded in trying.
Yeah. You learn what didn't work.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
That's everything, right? You got to get on the court and play the game before you can get better at the game you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
So get on the court, give it a go.
The challenge I've seen with these, just in my industry, of these coaches popping up is it just seems like a what they call a money grab. They're just looking to profit off
What are
somebody else's not knowing.
So when you're talking about coaches in your industry, Cecil, what are the coaches the so-called coaches? Because you're not feeling like they're any. What are they coaching?
In some cases, when like an acting coach will coach on performance and how to in voiceover, how to interpret commercial copy, for instance, and deliver it in a way
Mm.
that is going to be met with positive responses from a casting director or someone seeking your talent. So it's very subjective, very subjective. And people will have different views on how things should be interpreted. You take one piece of copy and show it to 10 different coaches, you'll get 10 different opinions, 10 different viewpoints. So it's a lot of performance coaching. Some of it's business advice on how to structure your acting career.
Mm.
There's some of that as well.
Mm.
So it's really coming from a point probably more leaning toward what you are saying as a consultant, where because folks want to, hey, I want to be a voice actor. I have no idea how to do it. What are the steps I need to take? And that person will say, okay, this is what you need to do. You get some coaching, you get take some classes, you buy this equipment, such like that.
I understand. And this is interesting and very timely. I went to a thing at the Goodman. It's called a salon at the Goodman Theater in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago. I'm a season's a ticket holder, and so I was invited as such to get a preview of a play that's being done at the Goodman. And the experts, one was the assistant director, and one was the accent coach, wrong word. Um, um,
That sounds about right. The
there's a word, it's accent
dialect.
and yes, yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
Cecil, the dialect coach.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the sense in the context we're having here that the dialect coach was a teacher. I want, right? We're making a distinction here between coach and consultant or coach and teacher, so that the dialect coach is teaching the actor how to speak in this case, various British accents. There's the highbrow accent and the middlebrow accent and then the
Mm-hmm.
Cockney accent. And this dialect coach is teaching how to speak in whichever way the character
Right.
and helping them, right? But she's really teaching it, and she's called a coach. So I think there's just a distinction here. Same thing with athletics. Now, it's similar in athletics, even in a personal trainer. And a coach such as myself is we work with clients to help them reach their goals faster and better than they would have had they done it themselves, right? So you go work out with a personal trainer. You know how to do it. You've lifted weights all your life, been an athlete, whatever the case may be. But when I work with a personal trainer, they see subtleties that they can support me on. And when you work with a coach like me, that's what happens for you too. You might get there on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Really amazing. And you might achieve that shift you're looking for faster with support. When you talk about coaching in the context of how to grow your business as an actor, how to grow your business as a podcaster, how to be a podcaster, I feel like those are all you're being taught.
Mm-hmm.
This is not, and you're called a coach. So one of the ways I work with clients, and this is a perfect reason why I do what I do the way I do it, is we might have several sessions for no cost just to figure out if we're a fit. Because if you came to me to be told what to do and you paid me money, you're not going to get that.
Right.
So I want you to know what you're signing up for. And I really can appreciate, based on how the term coaching is being thrown around, why there would be confusion.
Mm-hmm. So that's a great lead into Unstuck Coaching and what you do. So what are you all about? What do you provide? I know there's a number of different areas that you focus on. So tell us about that.
Great. So I am a life coach. I am a leadership coach. I am a career coach. And I'm a retirement coach for the non-financial aspects of retirement. And none of those things matter. As a coach, we work on your curriculum. And maybe you need support in life. You don't know this yet. You know, you're feeling a certain kind of way that's not great, but I'm going to make up. I'll tell you about a client I'm working with who came to me because their relationship with their spouse has shifted now that they are empty nesters.
Oh, yeah. I know about
And
that.
yeah, okay, great. And what they're experiencing is now that it's just each other, and there isn't the child in the house and all of that that goes with it, they're left with one another. And they have to get to know each other again. So the client is having an experience of, this is very uncomfortable. It's not going well. Can you help me? And then can you help us?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be one example. Another example is I'm getting ready to think about retiring, but I can't imagine my identity when I'm no longer a physician. This is an example of another client. So one is in a life transition space, another one is in a career transition, retirement transition space. And they're like, I got all the money I need, right? If you don't have that, I can't help. Like if you haven't saved for retirement, that's not my role. That's a financial advisor. But my role and what this person and I are working on is I need to be done with this now. I want to be done with this now, but who am I going to identify as when I'm no longer, like, what do you do?
And that's important to have that identity, right?
Well, it can be important. It's important to this person.
Hmm.
And you're no longer saying I'm a doctor.
Yeah, the who am I question is
Can
pretty
be.
significant. Yeah.
And others would say, oh, shoot, if I'm not a physician, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a wife, I'm a grandmother, I'm a pickleball player, I'm a runner. You know what I mean? So,
It depends, I guess, on the amount of thought that these folks have given, for example, retirement prior to retiring.
there.
What what am I doing, if I'm 10 years away, what am I planning, of course financially, but with my time? What am I going to do? Who am I going to be? But that takes some
What are you
forethought.
going to do? What are you going to do with a week full of Saturdays?
Hmm.
Now, for some who I work with, kind of more corporate, more white collar, not physicians, because it doesn't translate that well, although it can, is, hey, you're 5 years away. Have you considered that you might not want to retire thoroughly at all?
Hmm.
So you ask about Unstuck Coaching. Unstuck Coaching was my plan for my third career. I was a 33-year corporate human resources professional. That was career one. Career two was as a jewelry designer. And I knew that wouldn't take me through. When I say through, I really mean till the end of life. And I thought my third career will be the career I can do forever. Okay, as long as I can. We don't know what forever is.
Hmm.
And if you think about it in today's terms, we live about 30 years in that third phase.
It's a
Like
long time.
many, yeah, right? So many of my friends, I'm 62, many of my friends still have parents who are living in their 90s. So if I'm 62 and their parents are 92, that's 30 years or 27 if you completely leave work. Do the math, doesn't matter. Of a week full of Saturdays. That's not for me. For me, I want to work and I want to continue personal development and I want leisure. But I don't want all leisure. So that's not going to work for me. I'm going to do it this way. We call this rewirement, a more modern term for retirement, not a complete cessation of work,
So you're
but a
not living
shift.
on the golf course then, huh?
Oh, I tried. Honey, I don't even know what I don't know what it would have taken for me to ever keep my head down and hit the ball. Can't do it.
Hmm.
Oh, for me, that's suitable for me.
Hmm.
Um, oh, I talked to a guy the other day. We were furniture shopping at Darwin Furniture. Great experience. This man's worked at Darwin's for 45 years. He's employee number 22.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And what an affable guy. Oh my goodness. And he said, in, I'm retiring next January. And I'm like, Marty, what are you going to do? Oh, rose his head back, laughs and said, let me tell you how full my world is. I got my brother and we do this. I got my wife and we do this. I go here, I go there. My life is so full. I just can't wait for this time to come.
Sure.
He
You
don't
got a
need
plan.
me. He got a plan. He don't
Yeah.
need me. So what we don't want to have happen, and my whole inspiration on the retirement coaching side was my dad's story. My dad sold his business. I'm from around here, born here, moved away for 20 years, came back when I met my husband on a blind date at age 40. That's a whole nother story. And my
Can tell.
dad, yeah, we don't have enough time. My dad, or maybe we do, he sold his business at age 62. So that's my age, right? And he wasn't prepared, Cecil. He hadn't even considered who he would be when he wasn't a pharmacist anymore and a business owner
Uh,
anymore. He played a little bit of golf. He wasn't very good either, but he had a great short game. Great short game. And I think he either went into a severe depression or something, that generation, they didn't get help like people do today. But he was out of commission for at least a year after he sold his business. And
hmm.
it took a lot to bring him back from that place. He did it, of course, on his own, because that's what they did then. And I just think, wow, so say he sold his business at 62, say he was depressed, I don't know. Sure looked like it for a year or two. Now he's 63 or 4. And then the man died at 78. So some people don't get to live into their 90s.
Yeah.
So we don't have time to waste, right? We got our go-go years, and that 30 years I'm talking about, and then our slow-go years, and we got our no-go years.
Hmm.
My passion around the retirement planning for the non-financial aspects is let's just enter it in full glory. What are you retiring toward?
So that's interesting. The go go, the slow go, and then the no go. Where do you find, or when do you find most folks coming to you in which of those three phases are they? In the middle.
Pre-go-go. They're pre-go-go.
Okay.
I'm saying where I where I can help people most is 5 years before their shift to right after it when they go, oh man,
Mm-hmm. And they're pulling
this
their
week
hair
full
out.
of
What do I do? Yeah.
this week full of Saturdays, like I'm failing in retirement. I need help. This is not working for me. For some, the default is I'm just going to retire and take care of my grandkids,
Mm-hmm.
which is
If that's
of
what you
great
want to
joy.
do, I guess that's great.
That's what I was going to say. Great. And for others, they're like, oh, hell no. I'll help out. Yeah. But that's not going to be my new full-time job.
So how do folks? How are you finding the clients that you work with are
Referral.
coming from referrals from existing clients?
Yeah. I had a great experience. I hear you sounding a lot like me in whatever of the phases we've talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we gave that one example of I'm an empty nester. It's not really
Right.
working. I serve many career clients. One client, for example, is in their mid 50s. And they're like, you know what? I'm not done working by any means, but I don't want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not ready to stop working, but I don't even know how to find that job, that job I've always wanted. I don't want to do the grind, but I need to make a career transition. So that's another example of a client I'm working with, and people find me through referrals, or they'll know of me and say, hey, I know someone who does that. Remember, I don't really agree to work with you until we've met a couple times and I know I can help. So it's a really low risk endeavor
Sure. What,
because
go
if I
ahead. I'm
can't,
sorry.
yeah, I was gonna say, if I can't help or we're not a good fit, that doesn't serve anybody.
Have you found any challenges, or what challenges may have you found as you uh, bring in people that, you want to go through that initial phase of getting to know them and wondering if you can help them? Are you
Mhm.
have you gotten any resistance or challenges run into with folks in that respect?
You are asking some amazing questions. I really acknowledge
Oh,
your
thank you.
curiosity. That's really phenomenal. And when you asked that question, one individual came to mind, and they reached out to me because their child is in high school and trans. And there's a real struggle with that, as you can imagine, or as you may have experienced. And so, under the auspices of my kid came this potential client. And it became pretty clear in our first meeting that it became clear to me. The
Hmm.
kid was doing great. The kid was doing great. But the parent who reached out to me was not.
Mm.
For example, we've lost friends when my child came out as trans. My child lost friends when they came out as trans. I need to work longer to make money because we have to support my child who's trans, right? And they had two homes. And I'm like, well, why don't you move? Have you given any consideration to being in the other home
Hmm.
and homeschooling? Just as a thought. And they said, oh no, the child has too many friends to leave. And I thought, the child seems to be thriving with a different group of friends than they had. And it seemed to me that the struggle was really, really for the parent, and the parent was angry with me.
When you opened up to them that your assessment of the situation, they,
I never said it like that. I don't do it like that, but I would ask questions about that. And they were really like, this is not helpful. And I thought, in my own mind, this just isn't going to be a coaching relationship where I can
right,
help.
right,
And so we completed, and there wasn't going to be an offer of working together.
okay. Well, how would one, what should they do? Actually, what should they do prior to them actually needing help? If you can even answer that, because I think a lot of, you know, young folks aren't thinking about retirement. Uh, People who are healthy aren't thinking about being sick. So, what is it that they should do? I guess other than maybe I'm answering my own question, they just think about what would happen if.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think you can reach out for help before you need it. And I think most people, me included, well, me first, find asking for help to be extremely difficult, like
Yeah,
world of
I
hurt
agree.
difficult,
Yeah.
world of hurt difficult. No, 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 I got this. I'm good. I got this. I'm good.
Hmm.
And so for me, in my own personal experience, I got to get in a world of hurt to know I need help and that I can't help myself. But the pain of staying where I'm at is greater than the pain of getting out.
Hmm.
And so, in my own experience, this is when people reach out for help,
Right.
right? The pain of staying here is greater than the pain it's going to take me to get out of here. So I find
Makes
that's when
sense.
people reach out. And if they want to reach out to me, I can give you my cell and you can text me or call me or give you my email. That's what I do.
Hmm.
And then what I'll do is have those conversations. Let's get to know each other. This is no risk. This has no charge, right? You can be like that guy and I can't help you. Or you can be like other clients who are like, this is a great fit.
Sure.
And we're going to just take small steps and gain traction or endurance. And then by the end of our work, maybe we're running a marathon. Only that marathon is help, right?
All right, exactly. Uh, you talked a little bit about your transitions in HR and your jewelry business, I believe.
Yep.
Are you still doing that, or is that something you've put
Oh,
aside? Or
but I loved that business, Cecil. But the first thing that happened was during COVID, I sold my work at art shows. During COVID, art shows were shut down.
yeah,
And I had a summer off. Well, it ended up I had 6 months off. We all had 6 months off. I don't mean off, but
right.
And no art shows came back for 6 months. And I'm like, well, what the heck? I'm thinking I'm becoming a coach around age 62. I'll start working on it. That's how old I am now. I was 57 at the time. And I'm like, why not just start learning how to be a coach? And you can be taught it, but really you don't get good at it until you really practice it.
Right.
Like everything.
Yep.
And so I'm like, well, I'll just take this class. I'll just take this class. Well, turns out I'm not a real detail oriented person. So I take the class to get certified because that's all I know what to do. And I didn't read the fine print, but you had to have paid clients and a website before you could get your certification.
Mm,
So now the business was born. Unstuck Coaching was born, the website was built, and I had paid clients. So I did both until I couldn't do both anymore.
okay.
And so I retired my jewelry brand in 2023.
Okay. You miss it?
Sometimes
Yeah.
I miss it. I had amazing clients. I created big, one of a kind statement jewelry. And the clients that wear that kind of jewelry they were delicious. So I miss them. And the other thing is I sold everything.
Ah, okay.
So I don't have any jewelry. I sold it all. So I got no jewelry. I'm like, so I miss having an entire studio full of options. So you notice even today, I don't, no jewelry.
So how do you, I guess, flex that creative muscle now that you, because it sounds like the desire is still there to do something with regard to that. Maybe not jewelry, but what do you do now to kind of scratch that itch, I guess?
And my creativity itch gets scratched in the ways in which I serve my clients.
Awesome. Well, you're
And I
you're
get to
full.
go and I get to go buy somebody else's jewelry now.
Okay.
Some other artist will benefit from me buying their work, and everything I do is in service to my clients, and that's where my creativity muscle gets stretched, built, used, whatever the right
Flexed. Flexed.
but flexed. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we'll kind of wrap up. Obviously people have choices for everything, but what would you say is unique about what you do, your process, anything that would give someone the light bulb to say, "Hey, let me check out Barb and see what she's all about."
As you
So,
were asking that question, I was thinking in my head that there is nothing unique. about me as a coach, except for me. And that might be a fit and it's worth checking it out, and it might not be. But it's, you really started our conversation at the beginning saying there's so many coaches. Everyone's a coach.
Hmm.
How do I find a coach? Is everyone a coach? How do you know? And in my opinion, there may be a whole ton of coaches, but there's only possibly one right fit for you right now today, given where you're at. And it may be me. And you know what? If it isn't me, I know a ton of coaches I can refer you to. So I don't know there's anything unique about me except for me.
That's a very interesting way to say it. Yeah. So, anything new, exciting coming up about Unstuck Coaching? Uh, Anything that you're planning for the future that's you're trying to put forth or advertise or anything that folks might want to know?
No, but if anyone wants to know what I'm up to, I'd send them to my website and to my newsletter, which is awesome because I do a video newsletter.
Okay. Go ahead and give your
Um,
website.
sure, it's www.r, the letter R, the letter U, stuck, rustuck.net.
Okay. Areyousstuck.net.
And if you see me around town, Cecil, you'll know me because that's my license plate.
Ah, very good. Very good. I've got a little frame for my license plate that says voiceover. So
I love it.
little advertising. You never know.
Always. You never know who's stuck behind you.
Well, Barb, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. It's been super informative for me, and I learned some things. So I'm
Great.
hoping folks out there also will feel the same.
Thank you so much. It was great to be with you.
All right. Thank you.